Let's talk about boxes. So when you look at a website, it's kind of crazy, but it's actually broken into a lot of boxes. And the reason it's broken into boxes is because then you can contain things and control how they look on the page. I think that's important to note because you might not necessarily see the boxes. They might be invisible boxes, but they still exist to create structure. And so this is really important in the web design world because when you're trying to create structure and you're trying to move things to the left side of the page or the right side of the page or up or down or keep things together, you contain them inside boxes. So looking at this Behance website here, it's actually a lot of boxes. So for instance here, like let's just talk about each one of these cards. So like we've got a card right here that has a picture. It's got a title, it's got the author, how many people have liked it, how many people have seen it, and that's a card. You can see that then there's another card, and it just keeps going and going, and these are all separate cards, right? So these are actually contained inside boxes inside this website. And I think this is important to note because once you have all these boxes that work together, you then have a box that keeps them all in line with each other. So now let's talk about how there's even a bigger box that's holding them together. So going across this, you've got a box that comes all the way across and holds them together like this. Same thing for this second row down here. Then for the navigation and the other things up at the top of it, you probably have a large box going all the way across the page like this that's holding all of this information together. Okay, inside of that box, you may have separate boxes that are holding these pieces, including the logo and links, as well as these pieces, including the login and the Adobe logo, who owns Behance. These are boxes that we can then control how they sit on top of each other, if they're off to the right, if they're off to the left, all of these different types of things, maybe even a background color. So let's take a look here real quick. I don't want to drop a file in. Let's take a look here real quick and look at this search bar. So this search bar is great. It goes all the way across, but then you can see that we've got background colors that are different. We've got, let me do that. We've got background colors, we've got buttons in here, but right here, this box splits into two because we now have projects, images, people, and mood boards. So you have separate pieces and you can control background colors. You can control fonts. You can control the color of text. You can control spacing. You can control what happens when you hover over things or not. And you have all these different pieces where an image is placed that really are all contained inside of boxes. So even though we can't see these boxes, we as web designers can kind of tell where boxes may or may not exist to contain things and hold things together. So I want you to start looking at websites as invisible boxes because we're going to start creating boxes upon boxes inside of each other.